Wilston Junction is a busy interchange station on the London Overground. The lower level platforms serving the Watford DC line trains, or the Lioness line as we should call it now, with mainly Class 710s from London Euston to Watford Junction. And of course, London Underground's 1972 stock operate the Bakerloo line between Elephant and Castle and Harrow and Wilston. After heading up the steps, we find ourselves on the North London line, now known as the Mildmay line, heading east for Stratford. And west to Richmond and Clapham Junction. The Class 378 is the regular traction. You can also find a good vantage point of the multitude of trains passing non-stop on the West Coast Main Line. Well, that's how things are now, but in today's video, we're going back to 2010 and the end of the Class 313s on the North London line. For reasons which I'll explain, it's a Class 314 in ex-Silverlink livery, and we're on a run from Williesden Junction to Stratford. So welcome to Williesden Junction, and this is the reskin of the Class 314. Of course, this is from the Cathcart Circle line. It's not 100% perfect, but it was the only 314 that I could find. It looks very nice, though, I think. There's a few issues around the edge, but maybe there wasn't enough source material to refer to. But it's still quite nice, though. It looks colourful, and for all its brightness, and I think it's quite a cheerful livery, really. Some people might say it's slightly on the garish side, the Silverlink livery, but I like it. Let's get the train set up. So master key on, and let's get the reverser into forward. AWS and TPWS on. We'll kind of put the GSMR on, although it's not going to do a great deal. Marker lights, that will do us. We've got the indicator lights on, and we'll open the doors, which you'll get a bit of brake on as well. speeding already, but I just wanted to show you that outside view as we left Williesden Junction. Now we can get up to 35. So we're just about in era, because you could say this is about 2010 when it was the last of the 313s. And of course there would have been 313s in and amongst 378s, but in 2010. But this is kind of the idea being, this is the end of the 313s. It's the only 313 you'll see in this run because it's on free roam. So why the 314 though, not the 313? Well, the southern 313 that was released by DTG, and somebody pointed this out in the forum, the problem is there's no pantograph on it, and of course it isn't inaccurate, because although the 313 very much originally had both pantograph and the third rail shoes, prior to being used by Southern, they had the pantographs taken out because there was no use for them on the Southern network. So as a consequence, you just couldn't use the 313. So I think this is a reasonable compromise. Just reminding myself that the brakes on this thing aren't quite as good as you might get on the 378s. And this is Kensal Rise. We've got quite a few stops to get through. I mean, there was that love, I mean, I often refer to them, the Video 125 series, but there's a superb one on this line which goes from Richmond and it goes right the way through to North Woolwich back in the day when they used to operate to North Woolwich, of course now terminating at Stratford. One thing we are guaranteed on this run is to not be going along at pace for very long, because the stations really do come thick and fast. Brondesbury Park is next, followed by Brondesbury. And the idea is we're going to kind of hit the platforms at about 30 miles an hour. Some of the platforms are pretty short as well, and that's a test in its own right. So Brondesbury Park, followed by Brondesbury. I mean, I absolutely can't wait for the extension to Richmond, because it really will feel like a pretty complete route then, and it'd be lovely if we could get a model of the S7s. I can't remember if it's the S7 or the S8s that's used on the no, it's the S7s, isn't it, on the district line, and that would be on the section to Gunnersbury, and I'm kind of hoping for that, because just because of the Docklands light rail thing that you see at Stratford, you know, if you could do something like that, Johannes, that would be absolutely superb. But if not, I'll be more than happy with the District Line D-stop, because of course that was perfectly realistic as well for many years. Noticed that on one or two bits of stock actually on Train Sim World, where you have to take the throttle right off before you can actually get it moving again. So West Hampstead is next. Funny thing to think is we're only 8 miles away from our ultimate destination, but it takes so long because of the frequency of these stops. But you've got to love these old PEPs. And I don't think there's a massive amount of difference. I mean, the 314s obviously were used in Scotland by ScotRail, and I don't think they were ever in use with I don't think they ever had third rail ability built for them, but apart from that I think pretty similar. I hope very much we're going to get a patch to get passengers going properly on this route as well. That was a fault with the original route, because at the end of the day this is a massively busy route, so we want to see absolute teeming with people getting on and off these trains. So Finchley Road and Frognall next. We are crossing over the Midland Main Line. I think that's West Hampstead Thameslink you could see there. I think, as Scooby's mentioned a few times, it's perfectly possible to jump down and get in a train and operate that into St Pancras from there. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting being able to drive the section from Richmond, and you know, you get to Acton Central and we'll have to change over power with the 378 from third rail to AC. I mean, obviously people will then say, well, what about the Clapham Junction branch? And yes, that'd be lovely to put in. What about the East London line? Yeah, that'd be great to see as well, but it's kind of one step at a time as always. Nice to see proper dark tunnels as well. Speaking of dark tunnels, incidentally, I did the Subway Sim 2 route on Sunday, and the tunnels weren't dark, but I've realised, I mean, it's supposed to set the game up with what it feels as though is appropriate for your computer, but I think the settings were rather turned down too much, and I've messed around with it and I've improved it, and I've managed to get it to look much better. And because we're a stopping service, we shouldn't have a massive problem with traffic, really, because we could encounter the odd freight train, but we're always going to be kind of stopping at these stations anyway. And again, if you watch that video 125 run, you see he often encounters adverse signals, double yellows along the way. It'd be nice if we got the plus 90 as well on the electrics. But again, I mean, we've looked at some of this stuff before, but some lovely detail being put in. This is Hampstead Heath. I love the idea of that. You've got, okay, that bus shouldn't have disappeared like that, but you can't have everything. But there's a nice feeling of detail with the park and everything going on there, and then even up there a street with a bit of detail. I like it. And what we'll try and do with the next station, yeah, I'm doing it again. Oh, there we are. Make sure it's properly off before you apply power. We'll try and remember where the next station is. It's Gospel Oak, and usually I come racing in at 45 mile an hour and forget all about the 20. So we'll try and get a bit of brake on before the 20 mile an hour kicks in for the sharp bend to Gospel Oak. And of course, if we're being completely prototypical with 2010, then it would be true to say at that time the Gospel Oak to Barking branch would have been completely diesel. There would have been no catenary for large stretches of the route. I've still managed to go over the speed limit, even though I've just mentioned it. So we would have been seeing 150s on the Gospel Oak to Barking service. Of course, it wouldn't have either. It also wouldn't have been Barking Riverside. It would literally have been just Barking. Oh, excuse me. I think this station was pretty much left untouched when the Goblin line was released. This is basically exactly the same as on the Goblin line. So Kentish Town West is next. be soon past this 20, and we can edge up to 45 miles an hour. So what about the road map then this week? I mean, it was kind of quite exciting in that you feel finally that some of this stuff is coming out, but there was no actual definite release dates, it has to be said. Don't think we're going to be too far off this Frankfurt S-Bahn route, and I suppose you can take it as you see it, but you know, is it the fact that you look at the the order that's on the road map, and it perhaps gives us a clue as to what's coming out next. But you kind of expect, you feel as though they've been building up this Frankfurt S-Bahn route for quite some time. And I must admit, I am looking forward to that. I mean, there's 3 routes. There's quite a bit of mileage as well, all told. There's 20 odd stations. So there's quite a bit going on. Then hopefully not too far away as well as the Just Trains Class 86-2. Now, although they weren't 86-2s, I'm sure somebody will do a reskin very, very quickly of the 86 into Freightliner livery, and that'll look perfect on this route as well, on the freight workings, so that'll be nice. But I shall look forward to driving it both on West Coast Main Line over Shap. Camden Road coming up next, but also out of Euston as well, to Milton Keynes. And again, it'd be lovely if, I'm sure somebody will do some scenarios, but it'd be quite nice to have some scenarios with a bit of a mixture of stock. With, you could have 313s for the Watford DC line, you could have 86s and 87s. So probably really Virgin livery would be most appropriate, and then 350s in their original guise. So probably the Silverlink era, I'm guessing. I mean, you could do it in British Rail Blue and then have the 313s, but then you'd be missing proper stock really for the for the semi-fasts. And also, finally, some news about Alan Thompson's Manchester commuter route. And I must admit, I absolutely can't wait for that. And it looks, the detailing around Manchester Airport looks lovely. Great to finally see some pictures of Stockport Station. I mean, the only thing is it's going to be quite short. And I think even if you're doing a service from Manchester Piccadilly to Wilmslow to an Alderley Edge, it's still going to be pretty quick. And certainly when you do a Pendolino run, it's going to be very it's going to be over before it started, but it's good the fact that we'll be able to operate services in and out along site depot. So it's a start, it's their first route, and hopefully they've done it some justice as well. And we're going to get the proper concourse, because that was something that was massively missing from the original Manchester Piccadilly. And I'm not 100% sure, but I've got a suspicion that the original Manchester, Hadfield and Glossop route, although it was very nice, I think it was done by Rivet Games, so there were one or two things, like we were missing the concourse at Manchester Piccadilly, which just didn't feel right. It feels like such a part of the station. I don't feel as though I've been keeping a proper eye out on these stations either. That Camden Road, wasn't it? So it should be Caledonian Road and Barnsbury, and then Highbury and Islington. Well, we're missing it, aren't we? That platform. That's kind of pathing issues, isn't it? I could have actually pathed it so that we actually stopped there. So we might miss out on one or two stations here. So we're a semi-fast North London service, and not that such a thing would have existed in real life. There should be Highbury and Islington. Of course, a major station, connections with the tube as well. It's the Victoria line that's quite close by. Am I right in saying that? I think. Yeah, and of course we'll see 378s here with their pantographs down and in third rail mode, because they'll be going off to the East London lines. There you go, West Croydon, Crystal Palace is another possibility, and that of course the Windrush line. So you can go to New Cross, Crystal Palace, or West Croydon, as well as Clapham Junction as well. So there's another way of getting to Clapham Junction, as well as the direct service from Wilsden Junction. You can actually alter the pathing fairly easily, so I probably could have avoided missing that station if I'd realised it was going to crop up. Keep an eye on these signals as well. And the one thing that is a potential, we could get stop potentially. Right, so hopefully we're going to get clearance. I remember on the live stream a few weeks ago doing a freight service and getting held up thinking, well, we'll get the path eventually, but we certainly didn't. So waiting for the signal to change. Let's hope that does. I mean, the one thing I can guarantee you is that if it doesn't clear, then you won't be watching this video because it won't make it to air, as it were. But the problem you have with the North London line, I think, with the pathing is the fact that it's kind of so busy that there's trains coming through every few moments, so you're never guaranteed to actually get a clear route, and I think sometimes the signalman gets a bit confused. So I think just looking further back, yeah, I mean that's East London line service. I mean that shouldn't be an issue for us. I wonder if we can't be pathed over there, can we? Just have a quick look at the map. Ah, we are. Right, we need to here actually alter the pathing. Right, there we go. That will help us. I don't think you can do that in timetable mode. That could have been something we could have tried, but I don't think it works in timetable mode normally. Yeah, it was trying to path us over onto the wrong line. That was the issue. Kind of quite clever because it means you can do your own bit of signalling in the process. I mean, I would be delighted if they brought out the East London line, I won't lie. Right, I don't know realistically how long we're going to have to wait for the extension to Richmond from Johannes. I mean, the good news is it's going to be a free upgrade, so that is going to be amazing when it comes out. Well, thank you very much for all the all the new subscribers, and your support for the channel as ever, massively appreciated. And a great deal of new subscribers have come on from that recent busy Birmingham scenario, which I very much enjoyed doing, and thank you very much for making the effort to subscribe, really appreciated. Again, if you haven't done it and you're watching this video afresh, then please consider liking and subscribing. And the good news is, I mean, that was a fantastic scenario done by Spiky Yorks, and hopefully we'll do some more of his scenarios of Creators Club in the coming weeks, but there is a brand new mod available only for the PC, unfortunately, done by Trag, and that completely I think there's something like 1100 services for the cross-city line on it, so I'm looking forward to giving that a run. I've not installed it yet, but that's going to be definitely be part of the live stream on Sunday, and we can give the 323 a run out. As well as probably a 170 as well, I would imagine. This is Dilston Kingsland. But a fantastic mod, it has to be said. And also that Cargo Line Volume 3 that came out. I mean, I've only had a chance to do well, just the one run really, actually, since I bought it, and that was in the stream. So hopefully do at least probably a couple more runs. Speaking of the other stuff that's coming out as well, they're 86 pack. They haven't showed us any pictures yet. I think we're going to get some more pictures next week, because it's not going to be too far off, hopefully, that pack. But we're also going to get the early Mark II air-conditioned stock, which will be nice to have. That'll feel really at home on West Coast Main Line over Shat. But we're going to get the old Mark I buffet car as well, and you're going to get, and I was quite excited by this, but we're going to get a roller shutter door that actually works, and you're going to be able to open up the buffet and see the food inside. I was telling my brother about this yesterday, and he says, well, what's so exciting about that? You can't eat it. But I don't know, it just will add a lovely bit of immersion to it, and quite nostalgic seeing it, because I can remember very much seeing electrics coming through on the West Coast Main Line, and either Mark II air conditioned stock or Mark IIIs, but still with the Mark I buffet cars in the early 80s, because we had to wait quite a while before the Mark III buffet car, other than on the HSDs, was a thing. Done a brilliant job though, Johannes, with this route of representing London. Just feels just so busy, and okay, I mean, I recognise that building on the right from Train Sim Classic as it goes, but he's made great use of what he's got already. So we're on the home straight. We've got Homerton, Hackney Wick, and then Stratford. And without any shadow of doubt, these drives, when I'm kind of chatting away, seem to absolutely flow, really go quickly. Unless you're pretty much on the ball, these stations are quite tricky to stop at. Again, I mean, you know, you look at the scenery on, that's another train sim classic building, isn't it? But you look at the scenery on a lot of these routes, even on Train Sim World, and it leaves a lot to be desired. But you can see the kind of London city skyline in the background as well, and you can see that from miles away. Brakes off. There we go. It's quite some time since I've actually put this unit out on its paces on Cathcart Circle as well. And you can still drive this plus the 380 with the new timetable. If you're watching this afresh, I hope very much if you get the time that you can join me and all the various people that we chat away with on the live streams. That's live on Sunday at 5 o'clock. We've got quite a nice little community going, so we talk all sorts of stuff. And hopefully you can enjoy it as well if you've not watched the live streams before. Dodgy driving occasionally guaranteed from myself. Thanks for all the regulars that join on that. So we've got Mace Taze and Christopher, Scooby, amongst others. Zachary's a regular as well, and Connor. But there's quite a few. So apologies if I've missed out. Lee was a recent regular as well. But you know you are anyway. And thank you very much for the continued support. And we had Hayley last week as well, didn't we? I know she's built up quite a following on her channel, their American content. So we are coming towards the end of the journey, the Olympic Park and Stratford and West Ham's football ground. get a dynamic view there. Oh, we're underneath the bridge. Never mind. I'm trying to show you the entrance to the Olympic Stadium. You can see it there in all its glory in the background. Of course, now the home of West Ham United. If we're really lucky, we'd see a Docklands light rail service coming into view. Now again, we might potentially have a pathing issue here. So let's have a look at the map. Ah, we've got a Docklands unit over there, haven't we? That'll come round to get into the station. Yeah, platform 1 is occupied. And so is platform 2. So we might be here for some time. We couldn't get into platform 12, could we? So let's remove the path. And then let's set another path. Oh, we might be alright actually. Platform 1. So providing it's going to cross over, which I'm hoping it will, then we could reset that for platform 1. Right, so what we need to do here is, yeah, that'll do us. Yeah, that's it. So now that's great. We've got the marker now into platform 1. Again, just love the detail in and around here. I remember just being delighted to see people, you know, sort of walking in and around, not just at the station as well. You've got like a little play area there and all sorts. So we've got a Greater Anglia 720. Was that an Elizabeth line one? You've got a tube service coming through as well on the central line, I think, isn't it? But as we've said before, I mean, there's an Elizabeth line train, but Stratford could have been absolutely dead, and that would have been would have made this nowhere near as good as it is. But it's an absolutely fabulous route. And it's great to do a freight run as well. Because, again, you do get held up because of the frequency of the passenger services. First time I did a run on the stream with this route, I just kind of sat here transfixed, just watching just the sheer amount of traffic. We just need the 745 flirt now and have a extended route out to Ipswich, don't we? That would be tremendous in the future. And again, just detail, you know, we've got plenty of traffic coming through, we've got taxis, we've got double deckers, we've got single deckers. There's a representation of the 720. And then the DLR. But we'll just wait for this service to leave us, and then we'll end the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the trip on the North London line. Bit of nostalgia if you remember the 313s. Okay, it was a 314, but as close as we can get as things stand in the game. And it was a nice little run from Williesden Junction to Stratford. So I hope you can join me on Sunday at 5 o'clock. And if you're watching this either as the premiere or within the first couple of days of it coming out, then we are scheduled to have a look at that cross-city line. We'll look at that in a bit more depth with the PC mod from Train Sim Community from Trag. We'll have a bit more of the cargo line volume 3 as well, and we'll perhaps fit in another run or two along the way. So thank you very much as ever, and just one last time to say it, but if you haven't done it already, then if you could consider liking and subscribing, we'll be tremendously grateful. And as ever, thank you for all of you for your ongoing support. It's absolutely hugely appreciated. Until next time, from Powerflower Trains and Planes, it's goodbye.